Oh my God. Oh, that is amazing. What is going on, people? Welcome back to Double Clutch Auto Reviews, and thank you so much for tuning in for another review video. My name is Mark, and today we have for you guys the 2022 BMW M760i xDrive. This beast of a luxury sedan is powered by a 6.6-liter twin-turbo V12, making 600 horsepower at 5,500 RPMs and 627 pound-feet of torque at 1,550 RPMs. Made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission and all-wheel drive. This is my first time driving a V12, and let me tell you, it is powerful and smooth. Fuel economy isn't that great though, but who cares about that in a car like this, am I right? In a 20.6 gallon fuel tank, you can expect anywhere between around 270 to 412 miles on a full tank, averaging about 16 miles per gallon, 13 in the city, and 20 on the highway. It's rated for 0 to 60 in just 3.6 seconds. That's fast considering how big this car is. With a curb weight of almost 5,200 pounds, an overall length of 207.4 inches, a wheelbase of 126.4 inches, and a width with the mirrors at 85.4 inches. This car can also hit a governed top speed of 155 miles an hour. It's pretty standard across the board for a lot of German luxury cars. But if you remove the governor, it's claimed that this thing can go 190. And this bad Larry back in 2022 had a starting MSRP of just under $158,000. Wow. You would think that's pretty pricey as is, but it can go well above that with certain options that you can get, including the rear executive lounge seating package, which is a $5,750 option, the driver assistance package, $1,700, the rear seat entertainment, $2,700, Bowers Wilkins Diamond surround sound system, $3,400. All in all, fully optioned out, you could expect to get this car north of 180 grand. I'm a lucky man to be getting behind the wheel of this rather prestigious luxury sports sedan, and I have to thank none other than Bach Exotics and Ferrari of New England, located here on Route 1, the Automile in Norwood, Massachusetts. If you are looking for a new or used Ferrari, Maserati, or other exotic or luxury brand, come on down and check them out and tell them Mark from Double Clutch Auto Review sent you. I will put all of their information, including their website links, contact information, and address in the description below. Now, the 7 Series has always been the big daddy of the BMW sedan lineup, and this one is no exception to that reputation. The exterior styling is commanding, muscular, and masculine, but at the same time executive, so it gives it this almost imposing look, dare I say, especially this one being the black on black. Frankly, it demands your respect when it's coming down the road. I don't like to camp out in the passing lane, and I don't recommend you do either, but if you do, I'd probably get out of the way for this guy pulling up behind you, because frankly, if they want to pass you, they're going to pass you anyway. And apparently there's actually been some controversy over the styling of this car. I personally don't understand that at all. I think it's a great looking car, especially considering like the new ones. That style is much more controversial. To me, this seems like a car that almost anyone would look at it and think it's a good-looking sedan. It's certainly distinctive, but it's not outlandish or ridiculous with any crazy styling cues, in my opinion. It might be a little showboaty just based on what it is, but it doesn't have anything standing out to you, throwing this in your face like, look at me. We have the subtle little V12 badge on the side just to show everyone what you got, but other than that, there's nothing really else that shows anybody to the untrained eye that this is something really special and really expensive. I'm also a big fan of the wheels on this car. I think they look great in the gloss black matching with those big meaty brakes up front sitting behind them. Just take a look at those. I also think BMW picked the perfect wheel size for this car, right at 20 inches. I think fits the wheel well perfectly and complements the silhouette really nicely. 21s are obviously bigger than that. I feel like would have been way too much and made the car look tacky. I'm also very thankful that this car isn't covered in chrome. All of the accents are blacked out, or like that gunmetal gray finish essentially. Really sets this car off. The only chrome is that V12 badge, baby. Even then, they could have given that the gunmetal anthracite finish as well. Definitely wouldn't have minded that. But if anything had to be chrome, I'm alright with it being the V12 badge. Now, climbing inside the BMW M760i, of course, you're going to expect that the build quality and the fit and finish be superb, and they are. The materials in here are very high quality. Gotta love that V12 badge lit up in the dorsal right there. Just reminding you every time you climb in this thing what you're driving. The seats are big, cushy, and comfortable. The quilted pattern on them is to die for. I'm a huge fan of that. It really elevates the elegance of this interior. We also have the signature German car adjustable thigh bolstering where you can move that forward and back to really set the comfort of your seating position. And just when you think seats that look like this being heated and ventilated isn't enough, they can massage as well. This car also has a carbon fiber core, as you can see from this little badge right here, which is pretty cool to see when you open up the doors. Carbon fiber is stronger and lighter than steel. Sure, this car is still really heavy at 5,200 pounds, but I'm sure that carbon fiber definitely helps. Starting this bad Larry up and taking a look at our steering wheel, we have all of our adaptive cruise control buttons on the left and all of our gauge cluster and menu controls on the right. Cycling through the infotainment system, this is the generation before the most modern BMW infotainment, and this one is still really good. It's easy to figure out. The screen is responsive to my touch. We also have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, of course, thankfully both, so no one has to argue over which one you get or whatnot. One of my favorite attributes of this infotainment system is the M lap timer. Pop this car on a track if you want. It's a little bit of a big car for that, if I do say so myself, but if you want to, nonetheless, you can do that. And the beauty of this infotainment system is you can use it as a touchscreen, or if you want to relax a little bit more and keep your right hand down on your center console, you can use this rotary dial right here. The climate controls are self-explanatory. We actually have buttons and knobs. Thank the Lord. I wish BMW still kept this though. Now they're all integrated into the infotainment system. But I digress. We have the heated and ventilated seat buttons right here. Our wireless phone charger, 2 cup holders, USB port, and 12-volt outlet are down below. And if you want to cover them, you can cover just the wireless phone charger portion by pushing this cover slightly forward, and you can see that that kind of keeps your phone locked in place, so if you're going around a corner it doesn't flop out of there. Very nifty little touch there, BMW. Now taking a look at our gear selector, I've heard from some people that they find it pretty tricky to figure out. I don't think it's that bad, but nonetheless this is how you operate it. With your foot on the brake, pull it all the way back for drive, push it forward slightly for neutral, push it forward all the way for reverse, and push the P button at the top of it for park. Simple as that. To the left we have our traction control off button as well as all of our drive mode buttons, and behind that we have our parking assistant camera buttons as well as our air ride suspension lowering and raising button to make it easier to get in and out of this car. We have our electronic parking brake and the auto hold button, and to the right of that, the most important part of the center console, that V12 badge right there, reminding you which BMW you paid for. Moving down the center console, we have our little storage compartment, and it opens up like a clamshell. I honestly don't really like this, but that's just kind of what BMW does. I've seen this on multiple models. I would just prefer an old traditional hinge in the back, but nonetheless, this is what you get. A little storage in here with another USB port and a 12-volt outlet. Looking up, the headliner feels super nice. It's like this Alcantara or suede material. Feels really high-end. What doesn't seem high-end, though, are the dome lights. I just wish they were LED. I think these are just traditional incandescent bulbs. To be honest, guys, I just think they could have done better with those. They just really don't look that high-end to me. It just dates the car and brings it down a notch. And to be honest, for this price tag, LEDs aren't too much to ask for. We have a big sunroof, though. Opens up nice and wide, bringing in a lot of light and airflow into this interior. And I'm sorry, I can't help but point this out because this is the top of the line. Why do we have blank switches in this interior? Come on, BMW, you're better than that. Regardless of those few things I mentioned, sitting up here, you can tell that this is a very special place to spend time. I wouldn't mind driving this car for significantly long distances. Also, the ambient lighting in here is really cool. No matter where you're sitting, it's all RGB, so you can pretty much pick whatever color you want. I picked purple, of course. It brings a cool vibe into this interior, especially at night, and it gets my stamp of approval. But wait, before we move on to the back, I have to show you one of my favorite features on any luxury car. Soft closed doors, baby. I find myself frequently not closing car doors hard enough. It's pretty much the only thing I do gently in this life. But with soft closed doors, you don't have to slam them. The car closes the door the rest of the way for you. Now, climbing into the rear seats, opening up the door, just check out how wide this door opens and just how large and long the door is. This car is technically designed to chauffeur people around, so they wanted to accentuate the opulent and luxurious experience of opening up the door, or rather getting the door open for you probably, right? And then climbing inside with all of the space that you could ever need. And just take a look around back here. We have room in every single direction for days. Climbing inside, first thing you notice is this touchscreen mounted to the back of the passenger seat. Through this, you can cycle through all of the vehicle's functions, including the radio, the navigation system, even the vehicle settings. You could change the ambient lighting, of course. Go through the sound settings if you want to bump up the bass a little bit more back there. Everything can be controlled with this screen. Yes, even the heated seats and heated armrests back here. Wow. You can also adjust where the heat is distributed amongst the seat. You can change the radio station as well, and of course the navigation settings too. When I said you could adjust everything in this car from back here, I meant everything. Going through our massaging seat functions, we can get whole upper body activation, lumbar massage, upper body exercise, whole body exercise. More options that I could ever think of in regards to massaging functions. Opening up this very large center console cover, it reveals all of your climate control functions and 2 cup holders back here with a 12-volt outlet. And in the back of this storage compartment, kind of tucked away, we have a USB port, an HDMI port, 2 aux jacks, and a CD drive. And if you want to close it up, just tap it back and it slides right forward for you. Now, if you don't want to lean forward and use the touchscreen on the back of the passenger seat, you can pop this little tablet out and control all of the same functions of the car just as you would using the touchscreen in front of you. Except now you can lean back and relax a little bit more, right? Putting that down, we can pop our center console back here that also opens up like a clamshell. Whatever, I'm gonna move on from that. Nonetheless though, check this out what we have stored inside. We have an extendable table that comes out. I mean, how cool is this? This is only for the passenger side rear passenger though. The other passenger in the back doesn't get this. And I will say, this table is rather sturdy. I mean, I have full confidence in this supporting my laptop or my food, whatever I'm eating back here. This thing is solid. Significantly more stable than any airline backseat tray that I've ever used. Moving behind the center console, we have another little storage compartment back here. However, it's just storage. There's no cooler back here. There's no champagne glasses mounted and whatnot. And as far as my research goes, even if you wanted a cooler in the back of this thing, it didn't come as an option either way. So I feel like BMW kind of dropped the ball on that. For a car like this, you need to have all the opulence that you can possibly imagine. To me, that would include some champagne back here. Taking a look up, we also have a second sunroof back here, but this one is just fixed glass. It doesn't open. Still pretty cool though if you want to bring some extra light into the interior. But if you want to block out all the light possible, we have rear sunshades, of course, and you can see pushing this button, all of them can deploy all at once, encapsulating you in a cocoon of luxurious darkness. And last but not least, but of course, we have an ashtray back here. BMW knows their customers, I guess. And just take a look at the Bowers & Wilkins sound system. This sound system has 16 speakers total, including 2 subwoofers. I also think that the aluminum finish with that swirling design pattern is beautifully done. However, the absolute craziest and utmost luxurious part of this entire car is the button to fold down the passenger seat. While sitting in the presidential seat, with the push of just one button, watch as the passenger seat automatically folds forward before your eyes. The footrest folds down, and then you can use the seat adjustment switches on your left on the side of the center console to fully recline back. I mean, you cannot get more comfortable than this in the back of a sedan. And while you're leisurely lounging in lavish luxury back here, you can fold down this mirror and look at yourself to see just how rich and important you really are. And finally, we're gonna open up the trunk, little switch right here in the driver's door cubby. Taking a look inside, this thing is huge. I mean, it's no surprise. This is a big car, so I would expect a big trunk with a lot of storage. But 18.2 cubic feet of cargo space is pretty impressive nonetheless. Another little fun fact back here, under the floorboard is where your battery is stored. It's a pretty big battery too. So if your M760i is dead and you need to jumpstart it, don't look under the hood. Look under the trunk. Clearly this is there not only for weight distribution purposes, but I don't think you could fit much underneath that hood with that twin-turbo V12 in there. We also have an automatic closing tailgate, but of course, even in a sedan, why not, right? Push the button on the left just to close it, push the button on the right to close the trunk and lock the car. I like that button a lot, BMW. That's thoughtful and convenient. Alrighty guys, let's say we get to the part that you've all been waiting for. Let's start this bad Larry up and take it for a righteous rip. Alright everyone, now getting behind the wheel of the 2022 BMW M760i. So right now I'm in comfort mode and it is just
so serene in here. It's very quiet. I hear a little bit of road noise, but honestly, the ride quality well makes up for that. I mean, in comfort mode right now, it is just like a cloud. It is seriously just gliding over these bumps like nothing. It really is super smooth. BMW seems like they have this suspension really dialed in this car. I also have a really nice heads-up display here. It shows the speed limit and my current speed. Speed limit is 30, and of course, you know, I'm going 30. We're honestly just putt-putting around town right now. We'll get on some more open roads and really see what this thing can do. So right now I put it in sport mode and I just turned traction control off. And it says dynamic mode traction on. So I'm sure that it still has stability control, but it allows a little bit more wheel spin than just comfort mode. You can immediately hear the exhaust valves open up, the steering tightens up a lot, definitely changes the character of this car. All right, now we'll get into a little bit of a corner here. Yeah, you can still feel the weight, but the car is at least very communicative. I can tell exactly what the car is doing and where the wheels are pointed and whatnot based on my steering feedback, but you can definitely feel the weight in corners, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's a 5,200 pound car. You can't expect perfection and supercar levels of handling ability, but you can certainly tell this is a very performance focused and capable luxury sports sedan. Now I'm on the highway, minimal wind noise, I'm still in sport mode, and the exhaust really isn't that loud. It's very comfortable in here. All right, we have a little bit of open road. Let's give it some beans. Still makes that dinging noise. Wow, this car is dangerous if you like to go fast because it is just so comfortable and insulated from the road, especially at highway speeds. I don't feel bothered by anything in this car. This thing just glides on the highway like it is nothing. Truly an Autobahn car for sure. Just feels so capable and comfortable all at the same time. I mean, holy wow. It's definitely not like a sports car where it really hits you and it's really dramatic. It's definitely a gradual pull. I mean, this thing has tons of power, but it's a gradual progression of acceleration. It does not like throw you back in your seat immediately. It's like a luxury version of getting thrown back in your seat. It's just like, whoa, and it just sucks you back, just takes you for a ride. Ooh, that sounds nice. 3, 2, 1, go. Oof. Damn, that V12 sounds so good. Thank God BMW fixed their turn signals. Finally a normal working turn signal. Not like the old ones where you couldn't turn them off if you wanted to just make a lane change real quick. Now there's no excuses for BMW drivers not using their turn signals anymore. They work perfectly fine. Coming into another on-ramp. Yeah, even in dynamic mode, you can feel the weight of this car. I'm sorry, there's no denying it. It handles well for its size and weight. The 8-speed transmission shifts rather smoothly. Pretty seamless shifts in any mode, really. And I know this car is very long, but I don't feel the length. It has an excellent way of managing its length, its width, and its weight. I mean, it doesn't necessarily feel that huge. It's just the weight of it and the body roll, so to speak. But as far as like the wheelbase goes, it feels very capable and predictable and just really fun overall to drive it spiritedly. Wow. Oh my God, what a car. The little pops, the burbles when you let off the throttle are just so nice. It feels so German. It's meaty, it's grunty, but it's refined. Visibility is also fantastic. I can see all around me very well. No problems in that regard. Brakes work very well too. Oof. You definitely need some good stopping power to stop this heavy car. Now, if you don't time the shifts just right, it will shift for you, unfortunately. I wish it just held it, but if you don't time it just right, if you're not quick enough, it'll just bang down for you. Holy smokes, this car is fast. You just feel like a boss in this car, whether you're driving it or sitting in the president's seat in the back. The shifts aren't immediate. They're pretty good though. They're maybe like a quarter to half of a second between you slap the paddle and then the transmission shifts for you, but no, they're relatively smooth and quick. If you want a lot of luxury and a lot of sport all in one car, This is it. This is it. I love it. I think it's great. I love it. It's expensive though. It's very expensive, but you know what? Sometimes you get what you pay for. This is certainly one of those cases. Now, unfortunately, folks, we are stuck behind in traffic, but that's all right. Perfect time for an outro. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed my little review video of this pretty amazing 2022 BMW M760i. I really appreciate Ferrari of New England and Bach Exotics for letting me borrow this car for the afternoon. Thank you so much to them. I'll link all of their information in the description below. Take care, guys. Stay safe out there, and please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I really appreciate it. It really helps me out, and it means a lot to me. See you on the next one. Peace. Oh my God, this thing is so good.